Pregnancy shock. Yandy exposes secret that breaks Sierra and Mendeecees. The world of love, loyalty, and hidden truths is never calm for long. Just when the dust begins to settle, another storm rises. For months, whispers had been circling about the fragile balance in Sierra's life and the growing tension in her circle. But no one, not Sierra, not Mendeecees, not even their closest friends, expected the bombshell that Yandy would drop. A secret so heavy, so unshakable, that it shattered the very foundation of trust between Sierra and Mendeecees. And, at the heart of it all, a pregnancy that no one saw coming. The calm before the storm. Sierra had always prided herself on being the woman who held everything together. She wasn't perfect, but she was resilient. She had survived heartbreaks, rebuilt her life, and positioned herself as a woman of influence in both her personal and professional world. Mendeecees, too, had come a long way, rebuilding trust after his past mistakes and showing a commitment to change that won Sierra's cautious heart. For weeks, everything appeared calm. They laughed, shared dinners, and posted photos that painted a picture of unity. But beneath the curated smiles, cracks were forming. Yandy, who had always been close to Mendeecees and had once been like a sister to Sierra, started noticing things that didn't add up. Late-night calls, sudden disappearances, and conversations that ended the moment Sierra walked into the room. Yandy's dilemma. Yandy never liked playing the role of the exposer. She had been through enough drama in her own life to know the dangers of meddling. But as the signs became undeniable, her conscience grew heavy. Could she sit back and watch her friend Sierra live a lie? Or worse, be blindsided by something that could ruin her forever? The turning point came one evening when Yandy received a message, anonymous, but detailed. It hinted at a pregnancy, and the implication was devastating. Mendeecees might not be the man Sierra thought he was. The words burned in Yandy's mind. She deserves to know. Still, she hesitated. To reveal something like this without proof would risk not only her relationship with Sierra, but also the fragile peace she had rebuilt with Mendeecees. Yet the longer she stayed silent, the heavier the secret grew. The bombshell revelation. It happened at what should have been a joyous occasion. Sierra had invited her closest circle for a small dinner, intimate, filled with laughter and music. Yandy arrived late, carrying not just her purse, but the weight of truth. As the night unfolded, Yandy sat quietly, her eyes darting between Sierra and Mendeecees. Finally, unable to hold it in any longer, she stood. Her voice shook, but her resolve was unbreakable. "There's something you need to know, Sierra. I wouldn't do this unless it was life-changing. But there's a pregnancy, and it's connected to Mendeecees." The words sliced through the room like glass. Silence followed, sharp, suffocating silence. Sierra's eyes widened, disbelief flooding her face. Mendeecees froze, his fork clattering against the plate. The air became electric, charged with pain, anger, and betrayal. Sierra's shattered world. For Sierra, the revelation felt like being punched in the chest. The man she had opened her heart to, trusted, and defended, now linked to a secret that threatened everything. Questions swirled faster than she could breathe. Who was the woman? Was it recent? Was it true at all? But deeper than the questions was the humiliation. To hear it like this, in front of friends, to see Yandy's pitying eyes and Mendeecees' guilty silence, it was unbearable. Sierra excused herself, locking the bathroom door, where she stared at her reflection. Tears streamed down her face, but beneath the pain was something stronger. Rage. Mendeecees' defense. Cornered, Mendeecees struggled to explain. His voice cracked as he insisted that things weren't what they seemed. "It's not what you think, Sierra. Please, you have to let me explain." But the damage was already done. His silence in the crucial moment, his hesitation to deny it outright, only fueled Sierra's doubts. The more he spoke, the less she believed. In Sierra's eyes, truth should be immediate. Hesitation equaled guilt. For the first time in months, the couple stood on opposite sides, with Yandy caught in the middle. Yandy's burden. Though Yandy had spoken her truth, The aftermath weighed heavily on her. She hadn't wanted to destroy Sierra's world, only to protect her from living in a lie. But as she watched Sierra's tears and Mendeecees' desperation, Yandy wondered if she had done the right thing. Was it her place to expose the secret? Or should she have let Sierra discover it on her own terms? Still, one thing was undeniable. The truth had been set free. And once revealed, there was no turning back. The fallout. In the days that followed, Sierra distanced herself from both Mendeecees and Yandy. The betrayal from her partner was devastating, but the exposure from her friend cut just as deep. Trust, once broken, is not easily repaired. Mendeecees tried relentlessly to reach Sierra. He claimed the pregnancy rumor was twisted, that while there was a woman who had tried to involve him in her drama, the child was not his. He promised to take a test, to prove his innocence, to do whatever it took to regain her trust. But Sierra, still reeling from humiliation and hurt, wasn't ready to hear it. She replayed Yandy's words over and over in her head, each repetition reopening the wound. The deeper question: was Yandy's revelation an act of love, saving Sierra from a man who might betray her? Or was it a betrayal itself, inserting herself into a situation that was not hers to reveal? This question lingered long after the dinner party ended. For Sierra, it was more than about Mendeecees' alleged secret. It was about loyalty, about who had the right to decide when she learned the truth. And for Mendeecees, it was about whether his past would forever haunt him, whether even the hint of a mistake would erase all the progress he had made. The breaking point. Weeks later, Sierra finally met with Yandy. The conversation was raw, filled with tears and raised voices. Yandy insisted she had acted out of love, that she couldn't let Sierra walk blindly into a future that might be built on lies. Sierra, her voice steady despite her trembling hands, said, "Love isn't just about protecting me, Yandy. It's about trusting me to handle my life. You didn't give me that choice." With those words, the fracture between them widened. What comes next? The truth about the pregnancy remained unsettled, tangled in tests, denials, and rumors. But the real story was not about a child. It was about the relationships that crumbled in its shadow. Sierra, once full of faith in both Mendeecees and Yandy, now found herself walking a lonelier path, questioning not just the people around her but her own judgment. Mendeecees, desperate to prove himself, stood on the edge of losing the woman who had given him a second chance. And Yandy, the messenger of truth, carried the heavy burden of knowing that even the purest intentions can destroy everything. Conclusion: in the world of love, secrets, and loyalty, the greatest shocks don't always come from strangers. They come from the people closest to us, the ones we thought would never wound us. Yandy's revelation about the pregnancy shattered Sierra and Mendeecees' bond, leaving behind a trail of broken trust and unanswered questions.